What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait, I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Back in the suit. I was supposed to get a cup. Welcome to the breakdown. Episode 692, 8 episodes away from 700. And I got a Jufro going today. Man, I was fighting in the bathroom. That's all I got to say. I was fighting, and that's not because I was fighting with anybody who has hair under. Anyway, I don't want to go ahead and. When I say that, I forget. Like, there are a lot of crypto bros that obviously 24 years old and they've already lost their hair. And I'm not trying to make fun of the situation. I'm just saying. But if you do know what it is to, you're getting ready. Well, a lot of you also don't know what it is to get ready. Which is funny. There was a tweet. I gotta show a lot of this shit. There was a tweet out here, man, that I replied to. Where is it? I gotta show it. It was a post made from American as fuck. It was about liberal white women says if Republicans are the majority, why is there never counter protesters at the No Kings protest? And I made a remark and like I'm getting destroyed. Like, well, I don't want to say destroyed, but the liberals are attacking me in the DMs and on the replies. I'll go ahead and put that up during this show. Go ahead and talk about that. But yesterday night, Google came out. I believe Google came out with their paper yesterday talking about, quantum computing is going to take out. I'm being like dramatic, but the potential by 2029 that quantum computing can go ahead and take out some of these crypto projects that you're in. Interesting. Landy's pretty scared. I thought about maybe converting to fiat. By the way, before I continue with this, I want to give a massive shout out to Midnight. Midnight is now live, ladies and gentlemen. Midnight is live. Midnight is live as fuck. That's what Midnight is live. Shout out to Charles, man. I know he's really happy. I know that entire team is happy as hell. Good for him, man. Good for him. He's one of the few founders that comes out here every single day. Every single day comes out here. Well, I should say he used to come out here because now he's in the Discord, but he used to come out here and talk with the crowd. You can actually talk with the crowd. But again, shout out to Midnight. Midnight is the title sponsor of the breakdown. So shout out to Midnight again. Shout out to JJ. Shout out to the entire team. Shout out to everybody that's worked really hard on this. I know I'm going to bring on Charles next month, of course, to talk about this. Maybe I'll bring him on this week. I don't know. But I do want to bring on some people from Midnight to go ahead and just break down what Midnight is so you guys can understand how big of a project this is. I really do believe Midnight is going to win big. I believe that. And I know people will be like, hold on, it's sponsored by Midnight. That's why he's saying it. No. Like I am not I'm not fading Charles. I'm just not. I think he's close to solving something that's pretty cool. So privacy, that's big. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand and also the breakdown. Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets in this industry. Shout out to Vic, Seth, that team for continuing to build out. Bull, bear, doesn't matter to them. They build out. Vic invests a lot into, Vic is out here investing into a lot of projects. So forget about just investing his own money into his own project and building out a phenomenal wallet, but he's out here like really looking to invest in that. That is what I'm talking about, man. That is what I'm talking about. People investing back into the crypto industry. Shout out to the People's Reserve. People's Reserve is now officially a part of the program. Again, I think it's a smart idea. Again, it's not financial advice, of course, but I think it is a fucking very smart idea to not sell your Bitcoin, use it as collateral to go ahead and, let's say, for instance, buy a home. So, and RWI is going to get bigger as we move forward. At some point, you got to develop a use case, a real use case for all this stuff. All right. I talked a lot. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Shout out to TikTok. Shout out to TikTok and my moderating team over there. We got Fran on the 1 and 2s. We got Tech out there on the 1 and 2s. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. If you can, share and like the hell, double click on the goddamn screen. Let them know what time it is. I'm sure throughout this telecast, I'm going to get a restriction for what I got to say about a lot of shit out here. Apparently today's some sort of day today. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Anyway, let's bring in Landy so we can go ahead and have a convo. Landy's been waiting. I've been waiting for Landy. No Diddy. Hold on. Why am I not being... I'm trying to bring you in here. Landy, good morning to you, man.
Good morning.
Oh my God, he sounds ready.
I am, yeah.
Oh, he sounds ready. Like this. As soon as I heard, oh my goodness. Are you ready?
I've been reading the timeline, and it's funny to watch people who clearly didn't read the blog post. They didn't even read the paper and have very little understanding of where we are and what theory is. Like they're not even... Okay, so this is regarding Google's quantum paper, right?
I'm supposed to ask the question.
Well, I'm just saying that
God damn it, man.
People don't know what they're talking about. And it's really funny to watch people who don't know what they're talking about come up with the most hyperbolic takes that you've ever seen in your entire life about this kind of stuff. It's really, I love it.
Let me read some of this stuff to you.
Sure, yeah.
Let me read some of this stuff to you. Actually, hold on. Maybe I can... No, I don't want to... Because it's in the DMs. And I don't want people looking into our DMs. Not like we're doing anything fucking you know.
I mean, I do say a lot of horrible things about certain individuals in this space, so... And I DM them directly to you.
Honestly, like if somebody looked at our DMs, like it would be really boring for them.
Yeah, actually, it would be really, really boring.
You're like, what are they doing? Why are they always talking about fucking crypto and like politics? They're boring.
Literally the same things that we talk about here, just sending each other back and forth in DMs.
And if anybody wants to bet me a Bitcoin, like I will show you my DMs with Landy. It is boring. In a way, it's fascinating to me. It's probably boring to you guys because you're looking to, hey, how did meme scope go? I heard people got even broker yesterday. I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah, that didn't seem to take off yesterday. Now did it?
No. Nick, here we go. So let me pull up one here.
Oh well, if you're gonna look at Nick's stuff, I mean, we're talking about the content king of Twitter when it comes to the absolute the absolute worst takes when it comes to this stuff, but on purpose, right? If it's the
Landy's ready today. Landy is ready. Landy is ready. That's why.
Oh, this Nick. Oh, Nick.
Nick
yes.
Carter.
Oh, of course, Nick. This Nick. Of course, he's got an alarmist take. No,
here, hold on.
It actually wasn't him that had the alarmist take.
So this guy, this guy says Bitcoin is dead by 2029.
Yeah, no.
Nick, we go to Nick's. Do you see this or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's Nick, and Nick writes, many are wondering what Google saw that caused them to revise their post-quantum cryptographic transition deadline into 2029 last week. It was this.
It's that's the blog post by Google following the paper. Yeah.
Does anybody see this? Like this right here?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, everyone can use that now, and so few do actually use that.
Should I click it? No, I won't, because I want to talk about this. But okay, so let me get to it. I'm going to ask Landy the questions, obviously, but everybody's laughing at us today. All right, so yesterday I see all this stuff, right? I see this pop up on my timeline. By the way, like right after my workout, like I jump back on. I'm continuing to build something. I'll let you guys know in a month or two. But I'm building, I'm researching, I'm doing things. This pops on my timeline. Like Nick Carter comes on, a bunch of Bitcoiners, a bunch of anti-crypto heads, and everybody's like, oh shit, here we go. crypto's about to die. Like all these posts are coming out, right? And I had,
Yeah.
by the way, Alex from Project 11 on here because Alex does believe that they have a solution. I had
I
a good conversation with him. Like
I
when
mean,
he's came
I
on here
think
twice, and and we've talked about it.
uh-huh.
He wasn't. I'll say this about Alex. When he came on here, he wasn't. How do I
Oh,
say
but oh
this?
boy, his
When he
if
was
I
on this program, Landy, he wasn't. How do I put it? He wasn't like ringing like the alarm or anything. Like he wasn't like
no, no, but some
he
of their
wasn't doing
posts
any of the
certainly
hype
do.
bullshit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but,
He was
I
just
mean,
he just
they
said,
certainly do have a vested interest in this
of
space, as
course.
does Nick,
I'm not
and some of their
saying
posts get a little alarmist,
Nick
which
Nick
maybe
is an
is needed.
investor. Nick is an investor into the company
Yeah,
of Project 11. So
yes.
look, what I want to say is like he didn't come on here like he wasn't like hyping shit up. He wasn't like fudding like he wasn't doing any of
No.
that. I think more so he was the like how do we get to the table? Like if I were to if I take those two conversations that I had with him, it was more like the Manhattan Project, right? He mentioned that you get everybody to the table and you figure it out, not just for Bitcoin, but for crypto in general, and that's it. Like it wasn't like, hey, yo, you guys better watch out. The shit's coming in the next 3 days. This is Armageddon. Like he wasn't. That's not what he was pushing. So like, from that standpoint, I understand he has a vested interest in this, but I'm just saying like when he was on the show, he wasn't ringing alarms like there's a fire in the theater right now kind of thing. That's all
Well
I'm saying.
well, they're certainly feeding into that kinda stuff,
Well, of course, I mean, like, they have a
more
fucking company
recently.
that
And I don't know, I can't speak towards Nick or Project 11 directly, but I was reading a lot of look, there is a little bit of missing information, I think that even Project 11 is leaving out in that quoted post. And like I understand it. Look, they have a vested interest, they have a business, right? And I don't blame companies for utilizing some of the breakthroughs to their advantage in leaving out very specific information that would be relevant to even people who are now getting into this industry in a big way from like the sovereign fund side or from the DAT side, from the institutional side to regular normal individuals that are accumulating crypto. This is bigger than just Bitcoin, by the way. And I know everybody's like, Bitcoin is finished. This is finished. That's finished. It's all coming down. It's all dead in 2029. I just want to have this conversation with you real quick. There is a reality, and then there is reality, and that's where we live currently. And then there's theory, and there is a physical gap. And in the paper that was released by Google yesterday is um, is essentially talking about the actual physical gap that we face and that there has been the math and they basically proved the math to that could potentially break or will break in terms of the model that they've theoretically tested could break the actual ECDLP, which is elliptic curve cryptography, but essentially break the actual encryption standard or one of the encryption standards that's used and for key management and stuff like that for Bitcoin. And I honestly think that part of what they proved yesterday wasn't that we're actually any closer to the reality of this happening, but that the math is ready. That is what was proved. And this is the elliptic curve cryptography, yes. And it's utilizing, there's the hard part of that math is going to be your ECDLP. They essentially have found or created the math um, that can crack that with a lot less qubits than we had previously um, thought was possible. We thought we'd need far more quantum bits or physical qubits and logical qubits than we actually would need in this case. So, and part of what people need to understand is for where we are right now with like IBM's Heron or Google's Willow. I mean, IBM's pushing maybe 156 qubits, which is more powerful than Willow at 105. And the logical qubits that it's pushing is around 94. That's 94. And it's got about an execution speed of about 1,000 operations per second, and it crashes after that. The model threat that they have proposed in this theoretical to test this math essentially that could break the encryption would require a machine physical qubit count of about 500,000 or more, with about 1,200 to 1,500 logical qubits and about 70 to 90 million operations per second, with an implied error rate of 1 in 1,000, right? So we are nowhere near the physical reality of this being something that is actionable right now. And the way that they proved this math is they essentially proved this math via ZK proof. And we're running this in a virtual machine environment, right? So one of the big things that you have to understand about quantum computing is, one, it gets very, very complex, but it's also not anywhere near where we thought it would be many, many years ago. Some of the but realistically, one of the things that this brings up, and it gives us a good opportunity to kind of talk about this, was the 9 minutes. Was being made of this 9-minute time frame, that if it could crack the actual encryption in 9 minutes, that means that it could steal Bitcoin and mempool. Essentially, is kind of what the whole 9-minute threshold is. Why? Because there's 10-minute block times on Bitcoin. But honestly, that's a very low likelihood that we would be seeing something like that come to fruition in terms of even being able to be tested by 2029, is to kind of test that type of encryption cracking on a real physical quantum computer. We are so far away from that right now that we would have to really, really make leaps and bounds in terms of solving the error correction problems for physical qubits to even get that many logical qubits and perform that many operations per second to even get close to this. So one of the big things is this is making an assumption that in a perfect world, and we are able to build this type of a chip that can hit, you know, 500,000 T states, that is stable and running that, that 70 to 90 million operations per second with that low threshold, or 1 in 1,000, that is an error rate, that the math works. So it's less about, hey, let's be alarmist. In fact, the paper or the blog post is specifically not being alarmist and not saying that these things are dead, but hey, we know that we're lagging on hardware, and we likely will still lag on hardware, which means it pushes it past to 2029. This has not changed any of the models about the the prior models that we've kind of looked at as a 10 to 20 year time frame for the hardware to even get there. But what it does is it makes it moves up the timetable for, hey, we already have the math ready to go for when the hardware is ready to go. So update your systems, start thinking about these things and implementing the fixes now, because if we do have a breakthrough in T states, which is essentially stable operations for the physical computer states for the qubits themselves, we'll get the logical bits that we need, which is about 20% less than prior. But people are taking this as like, oh my God, it's going to be cracked in 2029 and everything's over. That is in a perfect world where I don't think people understand that we are only at 105 with Willow. This is a theoretical test environment proving out the mathematical model. It is not even close to being anything actionable. We are basically, it's like saying that we're going to go from essentially 0 to 500,000 physical qubits between now and 2029. And that's very unlikely, but their whole timetable for security there at Google is to update and start to get on post-quantum cryptography, crypto resistant, post-quantum or quantum resistant cryptography at Google is actually more aggressive to get to using those particular quantum resistant algorithms by 2029 versus the 2035 or the 2030s, where we're really only seeing things start to get rolling in that direction for the world in Web 2, not even just Web 3. Big thing to really understand about this is the actual risk isn't even the mempool stuff, right? It's actually at rest crypto. At rest crypto, you can have a machine potentially, in theory, running 24 hours a day trying to crack the algorithms. And now that the math is in play, the at rest crypto portion, and this is not just for Bitcoin, this is for many protocols, um, is actually what would be at risk. So you have, very low likelihood of Bitcoin's mempool um, being attacked in this way. Big thing, what you're going to build a $10 billion machine and you have all these brilliant engineers and all these people sitting around that are managing some of the the actual the cryogenic and microwaves and like all this other stuff that you need to actually perform these operations, sitting around to go and try to race the block times. Like, no, if anything, in theory, um in the most optimistic of scenarios, they could test that math, but that doesn't mean that it's anything actionable. And it's a very low likelihood that we get the stable T states needed that would actually be able to perform the mathematical equations that were proven out in this paper. This paper is literally just saying, hey, we have the math. You should probably start really thinking about seriously upgrading these protocols to support post quantum cryptography, not run around with your hair on fire and say that Bitcoin and crypto is dead, because it's not, and it won't be.
Thank you very much for that 10-minute thesis. I just want to let you know that
Half the
that a
audience
lot
fell
of
asleep.
people in the chat they're asking me to explain it in layman's terms, everything that you've stated just now. I'm laughing. I'm not going to. I'm not going to break it down for you guys because, like, you have, in my humble opinion, you have nothing to worry about. That's what Landy basically said. The reason why I say this is because we have phenomenal innovators within this space. We have people that have worked on Bitcoin that I believe have a solution. They'll nip all this shit in the butt and we'll continue to move forward. I know, and I believe that. I believe, and when I think, the first
Yeah.
thing I think of is like David Schwartz, and we have Charles. I can name a lot of people that have worked on Bitcoin that 100% for sure would come in here and
Well,
nip all this shit in the butt quickly, and that's it. You got
and it's
Vitalik
not just
too. You got
Bitcoin.
Gavin. I'll name everybody out. You got all these
Yeah.
people come together. It's done within 6 months. I mean, it's just like we're not even talking about this.
Well, the
So,
biggest thing about this, David, I think, is people don't bother to look that we don't have the hardware to do this, and we are very, very far away from this.
yeah,
And
but
this is
you wouldn't.
theoretical versus
Randy, here's my
physical.
argument. You wouldn't know if we have the hardware.
No,
Nobody who creates a quantum computer is going to come out and say, "I have a quantum
well,
computer." Like
I mean,
that.
they actually have come out and said, I have a quantum
No,
computer, and I think that
no. I'm saying, hear me out.
for a threat actor, they're not going to tell
Somebody
you.
who's about to, attack systems is not going to come out and say, "I have a quantum computer." That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We've seen people come out. Well, who is it? Microsoft? Was it Microsoft or Google that came out with their quantum computer?
Well, I mean, you have IBM, you have Google, you have Microsoft, but even Microsoft is talking about chips in a very specific way. They've solved some problems, but nothing to show. Now,
No, but all I'm saying is that a bad actor is not coming out and letting you know or anybody know that he or she has a quantum computer. Like, you're not going to know. Like, when this
Yeah.
shit happens, God forbid, like, if it were to happen, if there was a quantum computer that's developed and you can actually use it, then you would only know about it fucking an hour or two into them using it, let's say, to break the networks.
You
That's
wouldn't
all I'm
even know.
saying.
You'd have to theorize in most cases. Like, how did this happen in the anatomy of the attack? And but the thing is like very low likelihood that we are in any kind of risk by 2029. Like, this is a mathematical shortcut that was proven that hey, we don't need the robust hardware requirements that we thought we have about 20 times less robust hardware needs than where we thought we were because of this math. And here it
Yeah.
is, it's proven, but we are still even the most innovative and most well-funded projects on the planet aren't even close to the hardware portion that even this would need in order to run. Like when I say like, the two most famous ones are IBM's Heron and Google's Willow quantum computers. They're literally talking about just in short runs being able to get 156 or 105 in Willow's case qubits, which are still very noisy in this case. But basically, they're barely getting there, and we don't even have the error correction needed in order to get to the level that we would need. We have proven out in very, very tiny tests with just a couple of qubits, meaning two, that we can get to that error correction state, but we have a scale problem as it is right now. So even with the full qubit processes that we have with these quantum computers, that processing isn't stable. They've only been able to demonstrate stability and error correction on an even smaller state than these machines are capable of right now. So we are like nowhere near the scale that we would need with the 500,000 qubits or I mean, literally the machines crash after around 1,000 or 1,500 operations per second right now. Anyway, this is all theory and theory crafting. And also, these companies aren't in the business of, hey, we're going to build a 10, $15 billion computer system to run it to attack Bitcoin, Ethereum, and your favorite cryptocurrencies. Like,
Okay,
no,
but
but a nation
Landy, just
state
to be
might wait. Hold on, a nation state or a competitive corporation in another nation that is not as honest might be willing to do those things to disrupt the financial systems at large, especially the more that these things get adopted. So their point is, hey, let's get this done now and maybe move your timetable up for when you were thinking about implementing the fixes to these particular attack vectors. The reality is, David, the reality is that we are very unlikely going to see that even as the first attack vectors, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, so on and so forth. Like that would be a very low likelihood that it would be even be aimed in that direction, because looking at rest data, even at rest wallets, throw those off to the side, lost coins and all this other stuff. At rest data from government and corporate organizations around the world would be a far bigger get than the cryptocurrency markets, right? Like, and
I'm
there's
just
still the
saying
adoption slow there.
we can't throw it away and say, like, for instance, you wouldn't know if China's building something out. Even though people have come out or companies have come out and said, "Hey, we've built something or we're building towards quantum computer." China's not going to come out and tell you shit.
No,
That what I'm saying is like that's my argument. It's just like
but
you're not we don't know who's
my
building
my
what.
point is they're manufacturing behind this, and like even look, these are the most cutting edge companies on the planet when it comes to this kind of research. And it's very highly unlikely that you're going to see competing nations have anything even close to what some of our top tech companies are building in this regard anyway.
I don't disagree. All I'm saying is like if playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
China, North Korea, Russia. I
North
mean,
Korea is going to be nowhere close.
I'm throwing things out.
I
They're not
know.
going to
I
come
know.
out and say, "Hey, we're building this." No, that you're not going to know at all. And I wouldn't put it past China or Russia.
Well, they're probably testing,
I
but
would definitely, and they have, see, with China and Russia, they have very, very intelligent people. Like
sure.
one thing that they do
They also
have
like to
is
tell you that
really
they're way
smart
far ahead.
innovators. What?
Here's the thing is I actually disagree with you on this point. China and Russia love showing off their new tech that supposedly can dominate the American tech. I mean, you look at even just military when you look at the stealth aircraft that and the radars, and they like to talk about their advancements in chip manufacturing in in China. And realistically, when you start digging into even their claims, I think that they would claim that they have something that could break
I
everything.
don't think they would.
I think that they would if they were even remotely close to having something that's even theoretically relevant. And they have said very little. I don't think that they would hide it. Why I think that they would use it as a threat and as a weapon in the um, as a psychological weapon and as a fear tactic against other nations, because that's what they've been doing for decades regarding everything. Um,
Listen, if what Google put out there on the blog is true, okay? If it's
it
true,
is. It's verifiable.
I'm
The
just
math is
okay.
verifiably true.
I'm just saying if it is true, right? If if it's if it's been verified, then you as a crypto industry, right? If I'm talking about crypto, forget about anything else, because you have how do I put this? I'm trying to not to get banned on TikTok. Um, I really am trying not to get limited, restricted, and shit. You need to do shit now. Like we need to not wait until the 11th hour to sit down and figure out a solution. I would appreciate it if all the highly sophisticated, smart, educated innovators within crypto held a conference and developed a group to absolutely take out any fear and put forward a solution for all the chains that are out here. That's what I like to see.
But that's happening. This is where I get
All I'm saying is
a
I would
little
like to see a
irritated.
body come out here. I know it is. I
No,
know it's happening, Landy. I mean,
no, there
Sailor was on
is.
here. I get it. Like it's happening.
But
I get it.
here okay. I need to kind of lay down the law on this one
No, but
because
you're
when it
not.
comes
You're
to
not hearing me
Bitcoin,
out. Y-
I
What
am,
I am.
but the
I'm not wearing a
perception,
tinfoil hat. I'm just saying we don't know who's building anything. We just don't know. Just because just because we think and thought are the worst things that you can ever say or do.
sure.
All right? Like, oh, I think China can't do this. I think Russia can't do this. Like that is probably the worst thing you can do. You don't even know if Taiwan might listen, you don't know if they're close to building something. And that shit might go into the wrong hands. Just think about what I'm saying. Let's
Yeah,
it's
I get
this
it.
is all hypothetical. This is not I'm just having a conversation. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying you're wrong. Like I'm not I understand everything that you stated here today. I'm saying there might be somebody out there who's willing to go ahead and give away something to the highest bidder. That's it. And if
Yeah,
that and if
I
that
get it.
happens and we're not sitting and we don't have our top talent sitting at the table figuring it out for not just Bitcoin but for all of crypto. It's very important that it's not just Bitcoin but it's for all of crypto. I get the Bitcoin only like I get that crowd. But it's good to know that everything within this ecosystem would be safe. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That is what you have people building infrastructure on Ethereum. Whether
No,
people
I
like
get that.
Ethereum or not, people are building on Ethereum. You got major corporations and institutions building on Ethereum as people are building on Bitcoin. So, like, we have to make sure that this is all nipped in the bud. I know Algorand came out yesterday and they said, like, hey, nothing, no quantum
We
computer can go
have
in and touch us.
okay. So I get it. I get it. My point is we have people working on these problems on the various chains
I didn't say
already.
we don't.
And but this is no. This is the problem is that we have a lot of vested interests in the space that are making it seem as though the threat is imminent and no one is working on it. That is my point.
Because
And
it's
this
not
is
being
not
talked about, Landy.
huh?
It's
It's
not
talked
being
about all
talked
the
about.
time. It's just talked this is literally we spent the
Where
past
let me ask
year
you a question.
talking about
Where is it
quantum.
talked about? Where is it talked about, Landy?
It is talked about on I'll just use Bitcoin as an example. It's talked about in every damn space for the past year. It's talked about
Okay.
on the timeline at every other
Landy,
week.
how many people go into spaces?
There's a lot of people that are in the industry and working on solving these problems that go onto spaces. There's a lot of people that are working on this on the timeline that go into spaces that are also involved in this. And then you've got a lot of people that are actually proposing solutions and discussing solutions in the background to these types of issues. And there is actually movement happening
I'm not going to
towards
disagree with
solutions.
you. I'm not going to disagree with you where there is action is being taken. I know this because I've talked to a few people here, and I can name them out, like Charles and company. I've talked to them. David Schwartz. I've talked to them. So I know there's work being done. I'm
Yeah.
saying though, you're saying people are talking about it in spaces. How far is that reach
Whether
though?
it's no, 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 I'm not just talking about in spaces. I'm saying that it comes up in spaces all the time. And it's always used as a nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's trying to adjust or rectify this problem because they think it's very far away. Well, one, it is very far away still, even with the mathematical shortcut and the proof of that. The tech still is lagging. And for anyone that doesn't think that it is, you don't know what you're talking about. The other thing is there are solutions that are being worked on and proposed to be implemented across various chains that need that post quantum cryptography security. And then you have chains where that's already been built in from the beginning. And I need to address this because let's talk about a few things. In 2017, you might remember that there was a bunch of papers that came out that caused a bunch of panic for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the different majors. And it was essentially saying that only 2,000 qubits would be needed. And they were ignoring, and what they didn't explain is that they had ignored the error correction overhead that would be needed, meaning that you need far more qubits and then you needed a lot more stability. And that a lot of this wasn't even to a point where we were in the production phase for any of these types of chips. That was 2017. And they literally they that's where the time frame slipped between this could be 10, could be 30 years, right? This was back in 2017. So 10 years would literally put us to next year. You had in 2019 Google's quantum their Sycamore chip solved one specific problem in 200 seconds. And that would normally, and the whole big headline was that Google's Sycamore chip solved a mathematical problem in 200 seconds that would take current supercomputers like 10,000 years. The problem is that it was a very specific, focused type of math, of type of problem, and not actually solving a math problem. Like if you were to give it a real math problem that was not hyper specific and essentially um, and the test was arranged in a way in which it would need to solve for an algorithm, for instance, it just couldn't. It would not be able to do it. That was 2019. This caused a lot of fear. 2023, you had the Condor and Heron chips. You had the 1121 qubit Condor, means that we're almost halfway there to the 2000 qubits. Everybody freak out. This was 2023. And then the real issue is yeah, you can have a bunch of qubits, but if they don't talk to each other, otherwise known as the interconnect problem or the interconnect barrier, then it means nothing. You could literally have qubits next to each other. How do you solve for interference and error correction and all of that? And how do you connect them together in order to have them talk to each other? All this is because we're no further ahead. This paper literally is talking about specifically that we are way behind where we thought we were in terms of hardware. And instead, what accelerates things back to the 10 to 20-year timeline for reality is that we can use far less qubits by utilizing the advanced math or the mathematical end arounds essentially that were being proven by this paper. The paper literally is not to be alarmist, and that this is not an actual imminent threat, but you should be ready by 2029. Why? Because that's literally been Google's policy, is to be ready by 2029 with post-quantum cryptography. We have chains that have been working on this. We have discussions that are happening across various chains, including on Bitcoin, where there's proposals for updating that, but there's like little nuances here and there that need to be worked out for Bitcoin. But we're actually closer than ever with Bitcoin than prior, right? In the past year and throughout some of these discussions, to actually getting a BIP that would solve for the quantum cryptography problem in a post-quantum world. We live so far in the pre-quantum world that what you're likely going to see, even with bad actors and state actors and all of this stuff, I'm telling you right now that a lot of the fear is based on theory, and that theory has been very tough to prove out in actual reality, even to this point. Right. So even this paper is saying, in an ideal world where we have all of the things that we would need in order to make this happen, we are just showing you that the math can work. So because the math can work, you cannot count out that we can't hit that ideal world where we're solving the biggest problems, where you literally have, 500,000 pure T states per second that can actually run per second for 9 minutes straight, that could actually attack a mempool. I mean, realistically, you could use the real risk here isn't even that, and that's what's being made a big deal of. It's actually the at-rest stuff. It's the at-rest data in Web 2 and just on the internet in general, from government organizations, private organizations around the world, nation states. And then the at-rest crypto is actually the most at-risk stuff, right? There's the old legacy lost coins, the big, whale wallets on Ethereum and stuff like that, until, so it's like saying, hey, because we can prove this out in theory, we should be prepared for this well ahead of time. And 2029 is Google's stated target for being prepared for that world. This fits into that worldview, but it is specifically, if you go and read it, it's not trying to be alarmist about this stuff. It is, and we're seeing a lot of really alarmist conversations happening around this because there's a lot of misinformation about how this stuff even works and what it's actually doing in the first place. So, my point to you is that even nation state actors who wouldn't say if they had this tech, they would need. There's no, they're not even close to where some of these top firms are in the US. And I don't care what anybody thinks. If you think China is actually anywhere close to where some of the top firms in the United States are, some of the most well-funded companies in the world, that includes China, are still battling with the basics when it comes to hardware.
Bro, we
If they're
got
gonna
leakers
outrun
here
it,
in the United States of America that will sell their soul.
no, it doesn't matter. You still have to build it and make it work.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That
No,
is
but do
like
you understand
saying,
what I just said?
I get it, but it
Like
doesn't.
we have people that
Even
will.
then, they're not going to outrace these companies, even with all of the
Okay.
information.
Okay. Listen, I'm
What I'm
not
saying is
praying
there's
that
plenty
something
of
happens,
time.
by the way. I'm not out here praying for, you know, to see, our industry crash. Like that's not what I'm praying for. That's all I'm saying. But
It's not.
but
It's
I
not
want
even
to
the
play
biggest
devil's
attack
advocate though.
vector. It's not.
You know what it is? You know when everybody agrees, right? That's bad. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Landy, or no?
Sure, yeah,
I'm not
but these
saying
problems
I'm
are
not
going to be
saying I'm
solved by
going.
then anyway, well before the hardware is even there.
Here's what I want to say. We know 2 + 2 = 4, though some deranged people think it's 5. But for the most part, we can come to this conclusion that 2 + 2 = 4. So like we can be in agreement, and we don't need to debate that. I think though when we start and like everything that you said was valid. I'm not fighting you on it. I'm absolutely not fighting you on it. I understood everything that you said. I mean, like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, though, when it comes to this subject, like we can't just sit back and say, like, yeah, we got this in the book. Like we got this. Like we absolutely got this as a layup. That's what I'm
I
saying. Because that's when we get too complacent and content.
I get it,
Meanwhile, somebody's in the shadows, like ready to do some fucking devious shit. That's all I'm saying.
but crypto is at the forefront of actually pushing forward the
Landy, I get
implementation
it.
and use of security systems and secure algorithms. So
This is
it,
like
it's
COVID.
the lack of confidence that people have. I mean, I'm reading the chat right now. The lack of confidence that
Which
people
chat?
have that these are. I'm reading multiple chats right now.
Oh.
But the lack of confidence that people have that these problems will be solved by the time this hardware is ready to perform these type of tasks, I think is really underselling how quickly we iterate in this space.
No,
We
it's
move
not.
way
I'll
faster.
tell you why, Landy, how many times have I stated this? We have a extremely hard time breaking things down in layman's terms for people that are in this industry. Not everybody can go ahead and break down this topic like you can, Landy. Just remember that. Like, not
Oh yeah,
everybody knows what a mempool, all this stuff that you've said today. I'm pretty sure that half the goddamn audience is confused. We do a bad job. I'm not talking about you or myself. I think we come out here and we try to present value every single day. I'm not talking about others that do the same. I'm just saying we do a bad job with really breaking it down in layman's terms because people are just left like scratching their heads like I don't understand. And then if they put it into like ChatGPT, they still won't understand. You know, like
yeah,
this takes years to, you know,
sure.
I would say it takes years. Yeah, I think you need about a year or two in the crypto industry to really understand what the fuck is happening here.
Well,
That's all I'm saying, man.
my point is when people read stuff like this, and I would take Google's lead on their suggestions, right? Have this stuff ready by 2029. Have your blockchains ready. Have your post quantum cryptography ready to go and or already
Landy,
implemented
wouldn't you say
by then. So
move
I agree
faster
with
than
them.
2029? Because like you have let's take for instance Claude, right?
Okay,
Claude is moving at a fucking rapid rate here, man.
cool, but it's not a quantum computer.
I get it, and I'm not arguing with you. All I'm saying is tech is moving. Like it is moving at a high rate. So to
Sure, yeah.
sit here and say we got until 2029 is a bad thing because next
No,
year they'll
it's
come out
not.
with a goddamn post and say now it's 2028.
Okay. Well, in
You don't understand what I'm
2017,
saying?
we were already
I'm
supposed to have had everything cracked, right? It was literally 5 to 10 years. It's going to break Bitcoin. It's going to break Ethereum. And literally what this paper does is say specifically we are way far behind on where we thought we would be by now when it comes to the
yes.
hardware, but we have the mathematics ready to go.
Which they didn't
So
publish. They didn't publish the mathematics.
no, they published a proof showing that they have the mathematics, not the actual mathematics behind it, because there is the concern that we will make leaps and bounds in terms of discovery of how to actually do the error correction and start to scale this these chips so
Can
that
I
they
ask you a
can actually
question?
perform them.
Can I ask you a question then?
What's up?
Why wouldn't they release the mathematics?
Because it's well, the main reason why is because you don't want to give anybody or any firm the edge or any nation state actor the edge.
So
My
here's my
point
thing to you
is
then, Landy. Hold on, Landy. Then here's my thing. Somebody, like I said, who has bad intentions, right? And who's willing to sell to the highest bidder, they can get that, right? And give it off to one of these nation states, correct?
sure, but my point is, well, one, it's for when you crack an algorithm or able to prove theoretically that you can crack an algorithm, you don't just go and give that out there no matter what anyway, because it's got far-reaching implications beyond just crypto, right?
But
Um,
there are people that'll sell themselves. They'll sell their parent, like
sorry.
they'll sell their
I
grandmother for $1.
Sure, but that's not you're not getting the advancements that need to happen for, look, I'm just going to be straight up with you. The advancements that need to happen for this to actually go from 1,000 theoretical qubits that can't even talk to each other to stable 156 and 105 to 500,000 plus per second with 70 to 90 million operations and 1,200 to 1,500 logical qubits. We're talking in 3 years, right? 3 years time, 2029. It's very highly unlikely that if these firms have um, and are still not even close to that on the hardware side, that you're going to even get nation state actors. I think that there's people in like the chat that are like, you don't know what he's talking about. They're obviously way
Which
ahead of
chat?
where they tell us we are.
Which
No, they're
chat?
not, because that's why the government actually partners with top universities that these firms are doing these particular studies at, and where they're building it out in conjunction with universities, right? Like there is this notion that somehow all this tech is hidden, and we have to make these leaps and bounds of like, well, obviously the US government or these major governments will have these computer systems that are already working, and they're probably already working behind the scenes. Realistically, if the top tech companies are showing us this, they're probably a little bit ahead in terms of design, but in terms of implementation, you're looking at still an aggressive, and in a perfect world timeline, 2029 is when this could potentially become an actionable threat, right? So you're talking in less than three years. I'm not arguing against the importance of understanding what was put out there, right? Because you do need to understand that once the math is done, all it takes is for the hardware to catch up, which is why you don't give out the math that's going to break a certain portion of encryption.
Unless you're
Um,
somebody who is looking for money
that's
and
in
you
use.
can care less, right?
That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Like
Oh,
they will
I,
solve it on
I'm
their own.
I'm not saying it happens, Landy. I'm just saying that there could be people that have access that wouldn't mind
Sure.
leaking it,
And they could
right?
share that
So
information with, let's say, the Chinese government, because that's everybody's contention all the time. All right. So let's say they share that mathematical algorithm um, with the Chinese government. Then you have to assume that that they have that they specifically want to target cryptocurrencies, and that they have a quantum computer that is more advanced than the most advanced quantum computers that we know of from the biggest firms on the planet, right? Okay, so you can make all of those assumptions, and you could say, okay, and now they could initiate the attack on these particular crypto systems. Then you have to think about the actual the actual reasons why they would do that. Like, how does it benefit them? And what is the cost benefit analysis of doing that versus attacking, large stored data, right? And data at rest and like all this other stuff. So, like, it's all theory crafting. And then there's the reality. The reality is that this is the most aggressive perfect world timeline. This is where you need to be. And therefore, you should start acting. And that is where I agree. What I do not agree with is the protracted alarmist arguments that one, that this is far more imminent than we had previously expected, because it's actually not. Most have been telling everyone to be ready by 2028 to 2030 for PQC, right? So that's already well within the timelines that we've laid out, whether it's a major tech firm, whether it's governments, international bodies, it's all around that 2030 to 2035 timeline, some more aggressive 2028 to 2030 for implementation of post-quantum cryptography, right? And then the other big alarmist portion is that, well, we're just simply not ready on the Bitcoin side or the Ethereum side or any of these sides. Look, this kind of stuff makes those conversations easier to talk about in these discussions for implementation of post quantum cryptography, and you're going to see those things likely move in the next year for the major chains that don't have it. These are not issues that aren't being discussed or are actively being ignored or poo-pooed, and that's often the take that is given out there by a lot of well-vested interests and well-funded VC companies that are there to quote unquote help solve these problems. and a lot of individuals who are very alarmist about it because they have an agenda for getting something done because it does benefit them in some way. And this is where it gets, where's the truth then? The truth is these problems are being worked on. There are proposals that are being considered and voted on. And those things move through a process. And sometimes that process isn't always the most beautiful thing in the world because you're seeing how the sausage is made. But we
No
do have,
kidding.
we are working, we are working on getting things moving in the right direction for all of the major chains. And these things will happen. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they're going to happen. These changes for post quantum cryptography in terms of the secured algorithms will be implemented across all of the major blockchains well before this risk becomes a reality. And again, it's a theoretical risk becomes a reality.
I want to shout out, by the way, welcome to the breakdown, episode 692. We're 8 episodes away from 700. That's an amazing feat. I will go ahead and give myself a shout out here. And that's the official number. That's not the unofficial number because I've done way more shows than that. We've been talking about this article this blog post that's come out from Google about quantum computing. And are we resistant to all this stuff? And me, I think Landy's going to be mad at me and block me because I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, and just question where we're at. I understand everything that you're saying, Landy. I'm just saying there's always an if, like ever since, I got to tell you, Landy, ever since, the whole COVID situation, for me, there's always an if, like you gotta
Sure.
verify everything. That's all.
Sure.
That's the way I look at it. I'm not saying anything that I've stated will happen. I'm just saying there are people out here that they'll sell their souls for anything. So
It doesn't matter if they sold their soul for
I
this because
I
we don't
I
have the
got it.
tech to actually do it or implement it yet.
But we just don't.
This isn't
My
an
only
if.
thing is like we don't want
Also,
to go based on that kind of timeline. Like
Well,
they can't build it out.
let's
Let's not.
pull back for a moment though, because this is not what they proposed is not an if. It is a reality. That's why there's a ZK proof. It is proving that the math works. The
Yes,
if is if the tech gets there, here's the timeline that you should have this stuff implemented.
understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. All I'm saying is that if there is a small chance, we just have to move faster. That's all I'm trying to say. Because you don't know who's sitting in what position. We don't know what's happening. I personally don't know what's really, really happening behind the scenes. I'm not talking about people trying to fix, and upgrade systems. I'm talking about people sitting there and saying, you know what, I'll sell some information off the mathematics and I'll sell this off to some nation state for the right amount of money. And they go ahead and do everything possible to, develop a computer that can, go ahead and attack our
Well,
lovely industry here. That's
we
all I'm
wouldn't
saying.
be talking about these things if they weren't, at some point going to become realistic threat vectors or realistic risk, right? So when you're looking at securing networks in general and utilizing cryptography in general, not just for blockchains or time chains like Bitcoin, you're looking at what is the potential attack surface area and what are the threat vectors. How can how can this surface be attacked and what are the threats and how do we solve for those threats?
Yeah.
And what you do is you create the most aggressive models that you possibly can in order to start thinking about security, and risk mitigation, right? And that's where I think that what is often lost in this conversation is that we get these panic driven headlines and takes and all of that stuff because nobody's sitting here going, well, we'll never have the tech to do that, because anybody sitting here saying that is silly. But we do have to be realistic about, okay, here is the most aggressive in a perfect world scenarios that we have to pay attention to. And if every little bit goes the right way, here's the soonest that we think that we could be on that path. Meaning that is literally the most aggressive pathway to get to this potential outcome that we can possibly spec out from here. And what they did isn't an if. It is a literal ZK proof that this math is ready. So we need to be prepared for the in a perfect world scenario that this could happen. And of course, maintain, not just, idle, but maintain, the operations per second needed to perform this task. For 9 minutes, we proved that in theory we could do that in the 9 minute that could potentially outrun the 10-minute block time of Bitcoin. But that's not even the main point, because the bigger attack surface area is like, you can have a less performant, because you're going the most aggressive. You could have a less performant computer, right? Quantum computer that is not able to even hit outrun the block times, right? For cracking in mempool stuff. But in reality, there's even ways without post quantum cryptography that can be implemented to, in theory, end around that stuff anyway. But what this actually raises is a bigger question. Okay, now that we have the math, and I think people are discussing the wrong thing. It's like, oh, they can attack the mempool and it's all done. It's all over. Bitcoin's screwed, right? Because nobody's looking at the fact that this is not the only place that this encryption is used, by the way, in cryptography, and in cryptographic blockchains, or just cryptography in general, for security. But Bitcoin's a big name. So go ahead and make sure that you're putting that out in your headlines and putting that on the timeline and be very, very alarmist about it. But in reality, the real risk here is the at-rest data. It is the at-rest wallets that you can take weeks or months to crack with a less efficient computer, now that the math is done, which is the reason why, we could be like a year, 2 years, 3 years away from, a stable quantum computer that could work on cracking this stuff if they had the math, which Google has proven they have, that could take, 3 months to crack Satoshi's wallet, or 3 months to crack, a whale wallet, for, Ethereum or other blockchains, right? That is the real risk. Those are
Yeah.
far more eminent and actionable than should be talked about, instead of this, well, they're going to crack the mempool BS that I saw all day yesterday. And that's where we have reality and actionable, um, mitigatable risk vectors that should be being talked about right now. And I do know for a fact that these things are being talked about, especially in the Bitcoin development community, which is where you get a lot of the PRs that get proposed as BIPs. That this stuff is going to start moving. There's very loud voices in the Bitcoin community that have been championing moving this along so that we don't have to deal with this issue or have the potential risk vectors, and start to mitigate these risk vectors. But remember, everything in cryptography and in crypto systems and time chains and blockchains comes with a measure of give and take, right? So how do you do certain things in order to maintain the ethos and integrity of these networks without changing them beyond their fundamentals that they were started with, that make them what they are, right? So those things are being considered, and there's different proposals that are being put forth for many different chains, and
Yeah.
many are up to be adopted within this time frame, within the next year, 2 years. And I think that we will see that something like this, although initially very hyperbolic, very FUD and fear focused, will result in, and maybe those conversations picking up steam, and more, the wheels getting moving a little bit more, especially when you have a firm like Google saying we have the math. Essentially, that
Yeah.
does get people, like, oh, you know what, we probably really should have more focused discussions about implementation, and not just theory crafting ourselves for the potential implementation.
It is 1:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank Landy for joining us today on this topic. Very passionate conversation today, so I respect it. Um, We'll I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow as well. But I get where you're coming from. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate here just because I think we should explore every avenue of this topic and not just say, okay, we got this. That's all I'm saying. Um,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there will be people that are trying that will go out there and they're trying to sell their products. That I understand as well. So we got to look at everything from every perspective. That's really it. I do want to say, guys, if you didn't catch it yesterday, Landy, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time did come out with his market update. If you didn't tune in, you're crazy. But if you'd like to tune in, it's on X. Go to his Twitter, excuse me. It's on his Twitter account. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Go to @CryptoLandy and catch it. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is Landy, big time Landy. Landy, thank you very much for joining us today, as always, and thank you for breaking it down. Guys, we can agree. Now I'm looking into the chat. We can agree to disagree on certain topics, but it's good to have conversations like this.
But we don't even disagree. I think it's more
Yeah.
about the perspective, because we're both in agreement that at some point these risks need to be addressed.
Yeah.
At some point. My whole point today is just to kind of pull it back to a frame of reference for reality, because everything that people are going to see from here over probably the next month is fear and panic, and very little discussion about the actual real discovery here and the actions that in the realistic pathway to get to fruition of these potential timeframes. And I think that we will continue to have good conversations about this going forward. And I don't disagree with you by any measure.
No, it's just a discussion.
It is
It's
just a discussion. So I was reading this. It's like, what? I'm not saying that it's not a risk. I'm saying that we are addressing these risks, and this is an actionable thing. So
I
I'm reading
think
some
I
of the
think
chat as well.
I think a lot of people don't understand what a conversation is, and I don't think people understand what an adult-like debate is. So that's really it. I don't look into the chat when I speak. I avoid it because
People
it's
know I
going to
don't
get
look,
you
so they
pissed off.
DM me. They
What?
DM me.
No, I'm just saying, like
Although
when
then it makes me
you're
like,
on, why when listen, I come on to the show. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'll look at the chat. But like, if you start looking at every single comment, you're not gonna be able to get through a show, man. You're gonna start cursing the fuck out of somebody. So it's like, hey, listen, man, this is my thought on this, that, and the third, and that's it, man. Don't worry, Landy. We don't have to tell David what you said in the DM, and that's fine. That's
wait,
perfectly
what?
fine.
Oh, they're
And
just being goofy. Yeah, no, I didn't say
that's
anything.
fine.
They
Okay,
might be talking about this is Bits of Wealth, of course. He's
that's fine.
did I wonder if he actually DM'd me something.
I
But
just
what's up,
contradicted
Bits?
myself so bad.
Yeah,
Like when
because you need to
I'm
show the
like, I don't read the
DMs.
comments, and then he comes in, right? So
Yeah, I know. Well, David, one, I think it's a good discussion. And I know that you give me the space to talk about this stuff. I know that you're well versed on these topics too, as you and I've discussed in DMs. Um, and I think that having these types of conversations about where things are going to go are going to, you know, kind of put a fire under the butts of those who are in a position to implement the potential solutions to these problems. My only goal here, post, hype and FUD, in this regard, is to have people understand that the sky is actually not falling, and that
okay, but
this particular
let me
paper is a
explain.
good
I
thing.
want to explain something to you. Like
Yeah.
you get very technical. I can sit in a room full of people that get technical. I understand it.
Yes.
My here's my eh, eh, I don't know, for anybody who's been following me for a really long time. My thing is we get too technical and we lose people. Like we lose people because they don't know shit about coding. They don't know shit about networking. They don't know any of this shit. They want to. Can somebody please tell me in layman's terms, do I need to be scared or not? That's kind of like what they want to know. So like, yeah, this is a cool conversation if you go like you said spaces, right? You mentioned, yeah, there's a lot of knowledgeable people that go into those X spaces where you have the conversation and everybody understands. But remember, there are a lot of people that can hardly open their doors. Like there are people that get confused
He
when they
said
when they
hardly
try.
open
No, but I'm
doors.
saying, think about it. There are a lot of people that are confused when they go use a vending machine. Like they don't know like which button do I have to press and where do I put my card. Have you seen these advanced vending machines? Like I went to Jersey. I don't know that. What's that? America's
Oh,
Mall or
gross.
some
You went
shit.
to Jersey?
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I went to
How was
Jersey,
it?
bro. Like I was dead tired, bro. Like to make it to the other side, it's like 3 hours in that goddamn mall, man. They had
I
a
have no
sale
place
out
to
there.
talk, by the way, because I have residency in California, so sorry.
Listen. They had a sale. I went out there. Okay, they were. Now everybody's gonna say he's Jewish.
Yo, yo, they had a sale, so I drove from New York to Jersey is the most Jewish thing I've ever heard you say.
Listen, I've seen some family members out there, but I'm just saying in general. Hey, American Mall. Okay, bro. It was like, yo, it's like walking from New Jersey back to New York in that mall, bro. It's like fucking huge.
Yes.
And the vending machine. So like I'm watching somebody just use this vending machine and they're like, I don't know how to get a drink out of here. So like when we sit back and we're talking about now, what I just said was a vending machine, right?
Yes,
A
yes,
vending machine. We're talking quantum computing.
yes.
You're talking I read somebody
NC
right
States.
here that, yo, he's talking mad technical, right? And I'm saying like 90% of the people within our industry would say the same thing that this person said. They don't understand. These people are Instagram app people. They want to know, can I open it? How do I take a picture? How do I put a filter on it? And where's the caption area so I can write my little post and then post it?
Yeah.
They're listening to how quantum computers need a lot of cooling. The number's 0101. What the fuck are you talking about? That's the reaction. They really just want to know. Like people just really want to know. Like, am I good or do I need to go back to fiat?
You're good.
That's really an honest
Pretty
take.
simple. You're
I
good.
mean,
That's all I
when you
gotta say
walk
then.
into Landy, I've walked into these spaces where they're
Yeah.
talking all technical, and I'm like, this is why nobody's in your project. Like when Gavin Wood went out and talked about Polkadot for the first time, go watch that video.
Yeah. I thought
You
it was
won't
a great
understand
talk.
the goddamn thing that was said.
I thought it was amazing. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, it's great if you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
I watched
know.
Vitalik. I swear to God, when Vitalik starts speaking, I'm like, where's my thesaurus, bro? I gotta get this shit real quick. I don't understand half the shit. I still, till this day, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, what are you saying, bro? Like, why? I don't, just tell me. So,
Yeah.
Landy, I get it. I get, you're passionate. So here's the thing. I just want to, before we go, I want to say this. You want this because you have people like Landy. I consider myself very passionate about this space. I love this space. It's changed everything. And it's not from a monetary standpoint. I want to make this very clear. This space hasn't changed my life from a monetary standpoint. I was good way before crypto. And I say that respectfully. I'm not trying to be arrogant or cocky about that. I'm just saying, like, crypto didn't change my life from that aspect. Crypto changed my life because it opened up my eyes to the world we were living in and how programmed it was against us. So there's a difference. So, like, yeah, I understand your passion. I'm passionate about this space. I want to see it thrive. So, yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah.
I 100. No Diddy. I'm saying that's a New York thing. I feel you, bro.
I heard. Wait, what? I heard all Diddy. But yes, no, I get it. And part of the reason why I was kind of addressing things in that way from the technical down to the reality portion is because I think it's important for regular people to understand that you're gonna be okay. These things are theoretical in nature right now, but the real risks are there in terms of the ability. and the tech just needs to catch up, right? But there are also very smart people that are working on all of these problems to solve for these problems.
Landy, it's
So
like we remember
yeah,
being in junior high school or middle school or in fucking high school. You're sitting in a class, like, yeah, you're interested in the fucking advanced mathematics, but the dude over here, this dude's not. He's just not grasping it. It's not. He's not because he's bad or anything. He's just like the processor that he's born with. This shit ain't working.
I mean, look, there's plenty of people that are sitting in the same room as crayon eaters, all right? And there's a lot of crayon eaters out there.
Hey, listen,
And
some
to
people
my
used to call
fellow
me a
crayon
crayon eater.
eaters, I will put myself in that camp as a fellow crayon eater. Um, Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
And also, if you hear and see all of the FUD and the conversation surrounding it, it doesn't call for panic. And if you're reading panicked headlines, it's because, well, we live in an era of engagement farming. So, and that is more of what I was addressing today. And I think we're
yeah,
going to continue talking about this stuff because I'm sure you're going to have others that are going to come back on from some of these various firms
yeah.
that are working on these solutions. So,
I want to bring on a lot of because this is interesting. This is interesting to just chat about, to get everybody else's perspective on it, because this also could affect, like, I see bits of wealth say something, and I just thought about it. So you have he compared it to like Y2K and stuff, and I kind of agree with him on that. But then you have people that don't know anything about crypto, right? And I'm talking about major investors, right? They might be holding back their money because of this. I'm being serious when I say this. Like, they
I
might be
agree.
holding back their money. They might be hesitant to get into Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency because of this. Let's say somebody was about to get in 2 days ago. This blog came out. They read it. They're like, "Well, fuck no, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin." Like, if this truly can go ahead and happen, then that's not really a safe haven. A lot of things now
Yeah.
go through people's minds with big money. They're like, "Why would I go into
Well,
something that's not secure?" Even though right now you said, "Hold on, we're secure," but like, hey, I read something here that goes ahead and says we might
well,
not be.
it's one of those things of like, saying like, I don't want to buy a house because it might get set on fire, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's a risk, but you take steps to mitigate that risk, and you can still go in and buy that home. But there is still always that ever-present potential for it to, go down in flames.
A
And
lot of crayon eaters, man. I
eh,
like that terminal. A lot of crayon eaters and a lot of mouth breathers, right?
yeah, I look, I really do think that the there's always going to be a new risk vector for anything related to cryptocurrencies and encryption algorithms in general, which are part of a wider crypto system. These are crypto systems and blockchains that are utilizing cryptography, right? They are not cryptography themselves. And the beautiful thing is blockchain technology and these chains, even for as old as some of them are still some of the bleeding edge when it comes to tech, right? So we're going to keep innovating in the cryptocurrency space and in the crypto space. And I think that you don't see large players continuing to get into launch spot ETFs and accumulate for clients if they felt that it was all going to collapse tomorrow, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And and yes, I do agree with you that there are some bigger players that might be holding money back because of this particular maybe not fully understanding the article or the paper, and they buy into some of the fear mongering headlines that doom is imminent. And you know what? they get to buy at higher prices. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Landy. Again, tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to his market update at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also you can catch Landy here at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the breakdown as we discuss the markets and break other things down, just like here, like quantum computing and whether it is a real threat right now.
Somebody said my favorite flavor is orange for the crayons. I'm sorry. It's just,
I should start selling that tape for mouth breathers on the TikTok shop. I know there's a lot of people that need to put some tape on that tape on your mouth. Not only stop mouth breathing, but also realign your jaw. But yeah, Landy, it was great having you, man. It was a great discussion, and
I appreciate you, David. Thank you for having me on.
You're the man. Shout out to Landy. Go tune into him. Landy breaks it down, man. Landy's funny, bro. Landy breaks it down. Landy's passionate about a lot of. Don't fuck with Landy. He's way too passionate. I'll say this: he's very passionate about this industry. Very passionate. Very passionate about this industry. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 692. Sponsored by Midnight. Congratulations to Midnight. Midnight is live now. Congratulations to Charles, the entire team, working nonstop. Charles is having fun again, and that's not saying that he hates Cardano or some shit. At the end of the day, he's just having fun again. I think he's having fun because he's not on fucking Twitter. Okay, Twitter will make you have heartburn. Okay, Twitter will make you catch an ulcer. That's right. You read some of this shit. You post something, people. Yeah, I got people attacking me today. You got to be, even if you're built for this, it's just fucking annoying, man. You feel so much better when you're not on fucking X. And I'm not talking about the drug. I'm talking about X, formerly known as Twitter. Okay? I don't take drugs. That's why I look so sexy. Okay? That's why I look so young and youthful. And watch when I get my haircut today. Watch when I get my haircut today. I'm going to look like I'm 21. It is 1:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to TikTok. TikTok is home now. I feel like TikTok is the new home. By the way, shout out to Polymarket, the official sponsor, the prediction market sponsor of this show, the official rewind, the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand, along with this show. Shout out to Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets within this industry. We all fucking love. Shout out to Vic, and also the People's Reserve. Okay, People's Reserve. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Yeah, what was that? That was me stumbling. That was me stumbling on a word. I had to rewind and do it again. Yo, where are my hearts? Where the hell is the double tapping on Twitter? Excuse me, I mean TikTok. Anyway, we'll be right back after this. We'll talk some political shit. I got to get into some political talk.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy to use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the show. By the way, one thing that is guaranteed is that, the crypto industry has the highest percent of virgins when it comes to males within any industry. That is one thing that is undeniable. Undeniable. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 692. You know the sponsors. I don't gotta repeat it. Anyway, let's go. Let's go to some things here that I found very interesting. I found very interesting here. Let's go right to it. Can we share it? Okay, we can share it. All right. Let me get this. Let me get this person on here. This is where I got, and I'm getting attacked because I commented under something else in regards to like we should get away from NATO. We should absolutely get away from NATO. I don't know what we're doing there. I don't know why we're helping NATO. Anyway, let's look at this wonderful liberal. See, look. So this is what I said. Hold on, let me zoom in. Hold on, let me zoom into this. Here's a video of, and I'll play it. God damn it, it's playing already. But liberal white woman says the Republicans are the majority, whereas they're never count. Hold on. Liberals say if Republicans are the majority, why is there never counter protesters at No Kings protests? So I wrote, we were working. It's a simple thing. We ain't going to protest. We work. I ain't going to protest shit. Let's listen to this shit. Let's listen to this shit.
My question for you guys on the far right is, if you're the majority, where were you? Where were you guys? Because there wasn't many of you that showed up to counter protest. And I feel like if this is so important to you, if you love President Trump, you might have wanted to be out counter protesting.
Why the fuck? You see, this is the. What did I say yesterday? What did I say yesterday? Look at this. Hold on. This person's a moron. Whoever this is a moron. Like this is why you guys get offended. You guys get offended when I say things. It's common sense. What I say is common sense. She just asked, why weren't there counter protests? Why the fuck would I spend my Saturday going out and countering? Let's play this shit. I mean, I can't. I fucking can't. I really can't.
And you didn't show up. You didn't show up there. You didn't show up to his birthday party. So where are you guys? If you're the majority, where? Like, I didn't see any of you guys really out. Also, forgive me, I have laryngitis, so my voice is all fucked up. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe think about that just for like a hot second.
Let me think about that for a hot second. Let me think about that for a hot second. Let's think about this for a hot second. Let me go out and counter a stupid protest about there being no kings in America, because there's never been a king in America. The only person that was ever offered to be king was George Washington, and George Washington declined because he didn't want to be anything like England. No kings. I'm going to go out there and debate somebody like you. Again, what do you notice here, chat? Septum nose ring, right? And then I'm going to battle a person with a septum nose ring, some other purpled hair freak, and we're going to go at it back and forth about a subject that holds absolutely no weight. Find me a Republican with a goddamn septum nose ring. Go ahead. Find me one. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. These are the people that need mental help. You know what? I talked about being a unifier. These are the people these people need mental help. They need mental help. Trust me. She don't got just laryngitis. She got mental health issues. That's what she has. That's what she fucking has. I don't give a fuck. Unreal, man. This is, like I said, this is what happens. This is what happens when you have liberal professors that are teaching people like her, instead of teaching them about whatever it is that they've signed up for, they're talking about no kings. No kings. What fucking king are you talking about? Where is this king that you speak of? If Trump was the king, you would not be protesting. Your ass would be in jail. I don't understand you guys. I don't, the money must be good. The money must be good. Who's paying these people, man? I'm about to go protest just to get paid so I can buy more Bitcoin. Yo, who is paying these people? Let me know. I will go protest with Landy. Me and Landy will go protest. I'm gonna go protest naked. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go out there protesting in my underwears like the naked cowboy in Times Square. Instead of bringing a guitar, I'll bring a fucking violin. Unreal, man. Unreal. Wow. Wow, amazing. Amazing. Amazing stuff. By the way, Trump is absolutely destroying France and the UK, bro. Oh my God, is he on one today? Trump is on one today. We ain't gonna be there for any of you motherfuckers. That's what Trump said. Trump said, I will never, the United States of America will never be there for any of you motherfuckers. I'm paraphrasing in my own way. But he did say, like, we ain't come. And who cares about France? Listen, respectfully to the French people, fuck your country. You'll sit out here, make deals with China and all this shit. They're the first ones that waved the white flag, man. I got no respect. Absolutely zero. I have none. Hold on, the croissants originate from France? The croissants originate from France? I gotta find out if croissants originated from France. We got to get out of NATO. Like the United States of America has to fuck NATO. Okay, there I said it. Fuck NATO. These countries never help us. They don't pay shit. They don't pay anything. We're out here paying the whole bill. This is like taking out a chick that don't like you and you're paying the whole bill. And she ain't going home with you. It's 100% real. You're taking out some random chick. You know she don't like you, and she's telling you she don't like you, and you're still taking her out. You bought her a Gucci bag. You paid for dinner, and she's out. And she goes out. And she leaves the table with some other dude. That's the way we're being treated by NATO. That is exactly how we're being treated by NATO. Shit, I want to say something so bad, but oh my God, I want to say something so bad. Because this situation it's kind of like, oh man. I want to say something so bad. Oh, I really want to say something so bad, but I know that. Oh man, you guys are so lucky I have sponsors. If I didn't have sponsors, oh my God, I'd be lethal. I'd be surgical with this tongue. And who's NATO anyway? Like, what do they fucking have to offer? Like, the UK has like fucking 4 fucking ships. NATO got 4 ships in their navy. Canada has like 1 jet fighter. Well, what are we talking about? Yo, Landy, I'm about to say some crazy shit. I am so close to saying something crazy. I am going crazy that I can't say it. Oh shit, I said surgical with the tongue. See, you guys have dirty minds. Half of you guys are virgins. Don't even think that way, okay? Don't even think that way. Surgical. Oh boy, man. Oh boy. Somebody said, have to be careful with the lobby. Oh, I've always said I want more haters, man. I want more haters. By the way, I need you guys to start voting for me. I'm losing. Okay, the stock twits, the cash tag awards. I'm like in third place. How are you guys not showing up for me? I'm out here giving you value for free, and you can't take 5 seconds to go ahead and vote for your boy? Can't even vote for your boy, man. Let me post. I'll post the link. Hold on. I'll post the link. Oh, absolutely. I don't even know where the link is, man. Fuck. Can somebody get the link? I don't know where the fuck it is, man. I don't know where the fuck it is. It is 1:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've tuned into the Breakdown, episode 692. We talk about the markets. We talk about politics. We were just talking about quantum computing, okay? Landy got angry. Nah, Landy didn't get angry. He got very passionate about the topic. He ripped his shirt off like Hulk Hogan and he went in. Yeah, I've lost my mind a long time ago, man. I've lost my mind a long time ago. I say things, people think I say things to rage bait. I don't. You imagine if I did, though? Can you imagine if I actually attempted to rage bait? I'd have you all crawling up a fucking wall. But being that I do see myself running for the president of the United States of America, these type of clips can come back and haunt me like the one, like this fucking Landy's out here trying to get people to clip up that fucking content that I just put out there saying that you guys have dirty minds, by the way. You have absolute dirty ass minds. I said I'm surgical with the tongue, meaning like my vocab, I can go ahead and strip somebody down. Like I can make you cry. That's what I'm trying to say. What the fuck we talking about? What are you talking about? Don't tell me I can't say the fuck word. I'll say fuck all day long. I don't say the F word. Okay, let me say something to you real quick. I don't say fuck just so I can go ahead and get a rise out of you. It just naturally comes out. Man, we got a bunch of absolute fucking... Some of your mothers should have used Plan B. Like, I clip that shit. Clip that. Some of your mothers should have used Plan B. Go ahead. You want to clip something? Clip that. A lot. That's the mistakes that were made. Those are the mistakes that were made. A lot of people are joining because they understand. Holy shit. All right. Got new records going on. Yo, that's why, like, I don't really... Why am I paying for Twitter? I read some of the content on social media, and I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. A lot of you are walking condom commercials. It's true. It is absolutely 100% fact. I wish I can go to the next level with what I'm thinking right now. I wish I can go to the next level. Like every protester that went out there for no kings, they are walking condom commercials. 100%. I want to go deeper than that, but I can't. because I have to be professional. Let me find this clip and show you the morons that went. Let me show you the clip of these morons. Hold on. Let me show the morons that went and did the whole no kings protest shit. Let me show you these morons. If I can find this clip. Here we go. All right, here are the morons. Let me, guys, sit back and enjoy this show right now because I'm going to show you a bunch of morons. This is what I'm talking about. Plan B is an effective drug, man. Plan B is an effective drug, man. I believe it's effective. Let me just make this bigger here. Hold on. That's what she said.
He smells funny.
For real? Is that
Morons, hold on. Can you guys see this or no? All right, here are the morons. Let's watch these morons as they these are your I want to say so many things. I want to say so many things right now. It hurts me that I can't say some of the things that I want to say. And I'm unfiltered. Y'all know this. I just have to hold back. I have to hold back. Let's play this. Let's play these morons for real quick.
No King's Day!
No freaking Kings!
no kings in the USA?
No King's Day! Woo!
Yeah!
No King's Day!
What are we gonna do to the king?
Gonna shut him down.
How are we gonna shut him down?
Impeachment.
If there's impeachment, that means there's a Congress and Donald Trump can't be a king.
Right.
Right. Why is Donald Trump a king?
Because he's nuts.
He smells funny.
For real? Is that a question?
Because he has repeatedly over.
This is. I'm gonna pause it real quick. I'm gonna. I can't. I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. I'm absolutely going to hell. I'm going to hell. All right, let me play the whole thing. I'll rewind it, but let me not be like Funkmaster Flex when he stops, rewinds a goddamn song, because that's annoying. Let's go ahead and continue.
Use his
He's trying to abuse this world and try to make this place all about him.
Why are you asking me this? You know the answer.
What's the answer?
You know it.
What is it?
You know the answer.
So many people showed up.
Imagine if they showed up like this for Kamala.
People showed up for Kamala.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
What is one action that Donald Trump took that is impossible to do under the Constitution, but he did it anyway?
I can't name specific laws, I'm sorry.
I lost a lot of thought on that.
You're a reporter, so why don't you do your homework? Don't ask me.
Went to war.
Legally, he could do that.
He can? Oh.
Putting ice in our cities.
Legally, he could put ice in cities.
I don't really give about legally.
Rename the Kennedy Center.
Which amendment under the Constitution is he prohibited to renaming the Kennedy Center?
I refer you to the New York Times 2 days ago. They had a list of 30 items.
And you read it?
I read it, absolutely.
So what is one thing from that list?
One thing from that list is I'm blanking.
I did not fully read it. I've got it. I've read excerpts.
He's trying to run again.
If he's trying to run again, why'd he leave office the first time?
Because he got voted out.
So why won't he leave office now when he's term limited?
Because he's a fascist, that's why.
But
Did
he
you
left-
not hear what I said?
But he left
He's
the
a
first.
fascist.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
What's what's going to happen in the midterms?
This is what's going to happen in the
Wait,
midterms.
but I thought Donald Trump was a king, so there wouldn't be any elections.
Don't be so cavalier about that. You're taking this as a joke. It's not. This is
serious.
you. I don't think you know how serious it is.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
If he was acting like a king, he'd probably try to jail his political opponents.
Of course he has.
Oh my God, wait. I think Joe Biden might be a king. Who do you want to win the U.S.-Iran war?
Honestly, I can't say who.
You don't want the United States to win?
Not with Trump.
The U.S. is bombing Iran for no reason. I am rooting for the United States to just stop.
So you're not rooting for the United States?
Correct.
Are you happy the Ayatollah's dead?
No. I'm not happy that anyone's dead.
Trump took out the Ayatollah. He took out Maduro. He seems to be the king slayer. You gotta give him credit.
How can you ask that question?
I don't know. I heard he loves strong men.
Do you love strong men?
Well, maybe George Clooney.
Yeah, I'd be shaken if I saw him. We are the families.
Climate family.
Climate families. Do you know who I am?
Well, you a king?
Here's Johnny.
All right.
Welcome to the. Oh, I can't. I can't. I just. Maybe I'm just like meant to go to Mars. Elon, you know what? If you're looking for people that want to leave this planet, I'm right here. I have no problem going to Mars because I can't be here with this shit. This is crazy. You got people that are literally saying, "Hey, you know what? I want the United States of America to lose. I don't want the United States to win with Trump." Like, what the fuck? Where are we? What planet am I on? Let me not be on this one though. Can I go on this fucking rocket ship that's supposed to take off today or tomorrow? Can I get on this goddamn rocket ship that's supposed to fucking do a whole circle around the goddamn moon? Just drop me off on the moon. Just drop me off on there. This is wild. These people are wild. This is crazy shit, bro. I never. You know, Trump's the king, right? But Biden, when he went ahead and went after Trump, that's okay. All these things are okay when Democrats and liberals do it. But when Trump just wants to get rid of all these undocumented individuals out of our country, it's a problem. This is an orange man, bad. Orange man is really bad. I can't. I got to get off this planet. Some Elon or somebody in the space program, contact me. I'm willing. You want? I train. I still consider myself an athlete. I train. I work out every day, an hour to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. I can show you. I am in peak shape. I am willing. I am so willing. Oh no. Somebody in the TikTok chat called me a Jew. Oh my. What am I ever going to do? What am I ever going to do now? Anyway, these are the people. Some of these people look like they're in crypto. Am I wrong? Like some of them have dressed up like they're in crypto. Some of them look like the people I've seen at conferences, at crypto conferences. That's some of them look like them. No? I've seen dudes walk up to women at crypto conference. And let me tell you, hold on. Let me shut this off because this is enough. This is painful to watch. I've seen dudes go to crypto conferences and walk up to women. And let me tell you something. There's not a lot of women that go to crypto conferences. So let's say there's like 90% dudes, 10% women. You got dudes walking up with their fucking, with their MetaMask wallets, showing off their NFT collections. They don't even know how to speak to a woman. The reason why you're single is because it's not because if you know some women can get around the fact that you're ugly, okay? Like so women, there are women that won't look at your looks, okay? Like they'll say, okay, listen, he's a 4, maybe he has a personality, maybe just me, and then your personality comes in. Now you're a fucking 0. I've seen it in 4K. I've seen y'all walk up to women and the way you talk. Horrible. Like you've never seen a woman in your life. Terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I agree. The parents must be... no, actually, I can't blame the parents. The only thing I can blame the parents on is not using Plan B. Okay, that's or protection. Otherwise, it's not them. Or maybe it is them. But you know, I don't know. I got to go ahead and do a deep study on that. I really do. Anyway, it is 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've joined the breakdown. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. TikTok is killing it. Let's just call it for what it is. I love Twitter, okay? That has been home base since 2010. I love Twitter. I pay a lot of money to Twitter, okay? I hope that you fix the algorithm, but right now, TikTok is killing the motherfucking game. TikTok is killing the game. I got people in here that they understand. They're asking me to run for office because they know I can after Trump, you know, is done with his term. If guys, you're gonna have to wait because JD Vance and Rubio, they got next, and then maybe after that, maybe I'll jump in. I don't know. I gotta think about it. Yeah, I got to stop paying. Like, I forgot about that. I got to stop paying. I got to just pay the $200 for the gold check mark, and that's it. Because it really isn't doing anything for me. Every single show, you know, it is what it is. Why am I going to bitch and complain? I'm going to sound like a liberal. I'm going to sound like a Democrat, and I'm not neither, okay? I shouldn't be complaining. It is what it is. You work with the hand that you dealt with, right? You work with the hand that you dealt with. That's it. I said this a long time ago, though. If you are a content creator, you can't just be on one platform because you're going to learn a hard lesson. If you've built your entire platform on Twitter and specifically, let's say on crypto, you're not doing so well. Okay? You're just not. But if you're all over the place, and what I mean by that is if you're on TikTok, YouTube, Getter, True Social, like I'll name all of them out, you have a better chance of continuing to build out your audience and build out your platform. There you go. I gave you some advice. I don't need to. I owe you nothing. But I'm just saying you can go ahead and continue to build out your platform. And you're not stuck. You're just not stuck, man. Again, I'm not bad-mouthing Twitter. I love Twitter. I pay a lot of money to Twitter to be on Twitter and to have my brand seen. But that's the truth. That is the goddamn truth, man. I hope it gets better. I hope the product does get better because if it gets better, then my platform continues to elevate, and that's really cool. I agree with Trump. I hope that we get the fuck out of NATO. I hope let Europe fend for themselves. Let Europe fend for themselves at this point because we've done a lot for Europe, and in return, they have done nothing for us. Zero. Nothing. Zilch. Okay? And that's the truth. That's the truth. Europe doesn't give a fuck about the United States of America. Europe does not care about the United States of America, and that is the truth. They've gotten away with getting a free ride. Our military protects everybody. Our military protects every single person in Europe. That's how I feel. There's no reason we should be in NATO. There's no reason. Tell me, we're paying 95%, if not more, for NATO. Why do we need to be there? Why? Take that money and fucking invest it into people here. Invest it into real infrastructure in the United States. Do something with that money that benefits the people of the United States of America and not these fucking freeloaders. These are freeloaders. That's all they are. I don't care about defense, offense, NATO. America, right now, the only allies we have are the goddamn Gulf states or Gulf countries. Okay? The Saudis. Like, these are our allies now. The board has changed. The board has changed. It's changed big time. You know, England's agenda is, how do we talk about pronouns? How do we arrest people that speak on social media? How do we bring in more undocumented individuals into England? Like, England's all fucked up. England's absolutely all fucked up. And it's a lot of countries are just like that. France, the same thing. Like, they want. Never mind. I've gone through this yesterday. I was very passionate about what I said yesterday about this entire world, how it's been all psyoped. How, like, I talked about relationships. A lot of people hit me up in the DMs and said, David, you are so right. There were dudes that were hitting me up and saying, hey, this is a reason why, like, there's a reason why I'm not with somebody. And that is because I can give 100% to somebody. I can't give 100% to somebody when I know that the odds are stacked against me, meaning that if she takes me to court, she's taking 50% of what my net worth is. Like, there are dudes that were saying that in my goddamn DMs. We'll be right back with closing thoughts right after this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve. Together. What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it.
Yeah, welcome back. I was trying to get shout out to Midnight. Congratulations to the entire team. Show is about to be over. We have 5 more minutes left in this show. I just want to give a big shout out to, obviously, TikTok wins again. Shout out to the staff on TikTok. Shout out to Fran. Shout out to Tech. Thank you, everybody who tunes in to this show every single day. I appreciate it. And again, shout out to every other network that we stream on. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it very much. The reason why I should have ended the show at 2, but we've gone 24 minutes past. Landy, was talking about. Landy went on a rant for an hour, and I let him talk. So I wanted to get my fucking hour in on the breakdown, which is sponsored by Midnight. I don't care how many people are here. I appreciate the people that came in here, but I don't really care. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that you came here. But, it's time for me to go work out and then build and continue. By the way, here's some advice. If you're like a KOL or an influencer and you're just like not making any money, start building. But a lot of you guys don't know how to build. So that's why you're out of a job, and IHOP is your future. So anyway, if you guys can go vote on StockTwits for Crypto Creator of the Year, and you can vote for me, I would appreciate that. That'd be really fucking nice. Since you guys come here every single day to listen to me talk, and here I am talking, breaking shit down, providing value. I know I provide value. Even your grandparents agree I provide value. I am somebody that your parents envision you being with. Anyway, shout out to New York City. Why did I shout out New York City though? I'm not even shout out to New York City for voting for Mandani. Shout out to you guys. Mandani's giving out free healthcare to all government employees. So I don't know how that works. Hold on. So the New York City residents who work, they got to pay for healthcare, but government employees are going to get healthcare for free, and that's for their children. They get free, absolutely free healthcare, but people in New York City have to pay for it, and then they have to pay for their own healthcare. Guys, you got to love socialism. Socialism is great. Let's fucking go. It's great. I don't. Maybe oh my God, I was about to say a word and I hold back. Yeah, that's it for today. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. Tomorrow I'll be back at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, April 1st. April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day. I leave you with just be nice to one another. Right? Be nice to one another. That's it, right? Just be nice. You can crack jokes, but at the end of the day, don't wish anybody harm. Just be nice to one another, and that's really it. That's really it. And I will be the future president of the United States of America. Clip that up. Also, if you're going to clip up a line of me saying that I'm surgical with my tongue, that is not what I meant, and you guys are crazy. Anyway, on that note, bye guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.